Maritime transport is a key enabler of global commerce, providing efficient and cost-effective way to move goods across long distances. We can safely say that the maritime industry is the lifeblood that keeps global trade moving. You're welcome to Nimasa this week. I remain your anchor, Moyoluwa Olutayo. Let the voyage begin.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
You're welcome back. The program is still Nimasa this week, and if you are a new viewer, thank you for joining us. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, hosted a stakeholders forum on the operationalization of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF, in Lagos recently. While acknowledging the role of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Dayo Muberela, stated that the funds to be disbursed by the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy through Nimasa is to promote the development of indigenous shipping capacity in Nigeria. Stay tuned for the full report.
The disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, the CVFF, has long been anticipated by industry stakeholders, and recently, a major milestone was achieved, drawing together key players in Nigeria's cabotage trade. A significant step towards deepening indigenous participation in the cabotage regime was taken when the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency hosted a stakeholders forum on the operationalization of the CVFF in Lagos. At the event, it was revealed that the CVFF will be disbursed by the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy through Nimasa at a single-digit interest rate, a notable incentive for operators in the industry. The agency's Director General, Dr. Dayo Muberela, who announced this at the event, also disclosed a 2-year moratorium and an 8-year tenure for the facility. The funds, he said, will be made accessible through 12 primary lending institutions.
We are partnering with 12 primary lending institutions to facilitate access to the fund. I urge all prospective applicants to follow the established procedures through our partners' financial institutions. The CVFF is not a grant program, but a strategic investment in Nigerians' maritime future. It is a loan with single-digit interest. We will monitor fund utilization to ensure the intended objectives are achieved.
Dr. Muberela also acknowledged the pivotal role played by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, through the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, CON, in ensuring the immediate takeoff of the fund's disbursement.
The CVFF was established under the Coastal and Inland Shipping Act of 2003 to support indigenous ship owners for vessel acquisition and capacity development financially. Despite nearly 2 decades of regulatory challenges and bad experiences of the past, I am delighted to announce that under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR's leadership, and with the support and directive of the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency, Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola, CON, we have secured the necessary approvals for disbursement of the CVFF.
This gathering presents a special and unique opportunity for us as critical stakeholders in the nation's maritime and blue economy system to make innovative contributions and strengthen collaborations towards the operationalization of the CVFF.
If you look at the Act is saying the vessel area of trading have to only be restricted to the cabotage or coastal areas. Does it mean that if you have access to this business or these funds and this asset by the Act is not allowed, or there will not be any flexibility for you to operate the vessel outside the Coastal and Inland Water Act areas, which is just within the cabotage areas?
The Cabotage Act is to develop the cabotage area. Now, the challenge has always been that if a vessel is financed strictly for cabotage area, how do we know, and there's a level of flexibility that is given and you go outside and come back, how do we know whether you're really operating the area and then the need of the area is not being met? It's something we've looked at strictly, and the law requires the vessel to operate within the cabotage area. So the flexibility in which we are looking at is some level of your operation is predominantly in Nigeria. And then you have, for example, an offshore support vessel needs to go to Angola for an opportunity. We're not going to raise an eyebrow at it. But you must notify your PLI, because part of the monitoring, the PLIs, we've told them, is expected for them to have a database in which they check on a daily or weekly basis as to the movement of the assets.
Representing industry stakeholders, President of the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping, Aminu Umar, commended the Honorable Minister and Nimasa for their unwavering commitment to actualizing the CVFF.
It's a milestone, it's a historic moment, it's a huge achievement which we have not seen since for so long we have been waiting for these funds. So I think my colleagues who are here, we are all looking forward to be able to have access to this capital. I must say it's one of the fundamental issues all the operators who are here are having, and all shipping or every other business, is access to capital. This has always been the bottleneck for us to be able to grow our economy. And I think it is important that this moment is here. So I look forward to further discussion. Thank you.
Other matters addressed at the forum included critical areas such as insurance, fund security, flexible loan tenures, and reduced charges at subsidized rates, with consultants present to engage directly with stakeholders. The Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund was established to promote the development of indigenous shipping capacity in Nigeria. It seeks to provide financial assistance to Nigerian-owned, crewed, built and flagged vessels for cabotage trade within Nigerian waters. The Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy recently held its 2025 sectoral retreat for senior officials of the ministry and its agencies at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. The aim of the gathering was to strengthen interagency collaboration and strategically position Nigeria's marine and blue economy at the forefront of national development, in line with global trends, which have seen nations tilt towards more sustainable revenue sources. Delivering the keynote address, the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, called for the full and accelerated implementation of the newly approved National Policy on Marine and Blue Economy. He reiterated that the sector occupies a central role in the federal government's economic growth agenda under the Renewed Hope framework, and that significant results are expected from all agencies under the ministry.
The strategic thrust of the policy must be fully internalized and translated into well-prioritized programs, institutional cohesion, and measurable outcomes that align with national expectations and reflect the aspirations of Nigerians.
In giving account of the ministry's performance under his leadership, he highlighted recent milestones, including the modernization of port infrastructure, the rollout of the National Single Window Platform, improvements in port efficiency, enhanced maritime security, and the commencement of the long-awaited CVFF disbursement process. In his opening remarks, the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Olufemi Oloruntola, echoed the minister's call for decisive action, noting that the ministry now stands at a pivotal point in delivering on the promises of the Renewed Hope agenda.
This forum is a timely opportunity for us to take stock of our progress, strengthen collaboration across our institutions, and realign our efforts in support of the bold direction set by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. We are at a crucial junction in the implementation of the Renewed Hope agenda under the visionary leadership of His Excellency, the Honorable Minister Adegboyega Oyetola, CON.
Acknowledgement was also given to the National Assembly committees overseeing the sector, whose legislative support remains crucial. These include the Senate Committee on Marine Transport, chaired by Senator Wasiu Eshinlokun, and the House Committee on Maritime Safety, Education and Administration, led by Honorable Khadija Buka Abba Ibrahim. Books open doors to worlds unseen, and on this special day, Nimasa joined the global community in celebrating the timeless power of books and the rights of those who create them. The agency's multipurpose hall, nestled within the Nigerian Maritime Resource Development Center in Kirikiri, Apapa, Lagos, played host to a vibrant celebration of the 2025 World Book and Copyright Day. In attendance were key stakeholders, including Mrs. Aisha Askira, head of the Nimasa Library, Ms. Linda Alpheus, director of the Lagos office of the Nigerian Copyright Commission, and students from Nigerian Navy Secondary School and Dr. Lucas Secondary School. Representing the agency's Director of Planning, Research and Data Management Services Department, Mr. Salisu Umar reaffirmed Nimasa's enduring commitment to knowledge sharing and nurturing a culture of literacy and intellectual growth. Brief presentations were made by Mrs. Aisha Askira on the importance of books, while Mrs. Linda Alpheus from the Nigerian Copyright Commission spoke on copyright protection in Nigeria.
People in this part of the country or in this part of the world, they are not really into reading. So these are all part of reading promotion. We promote reading, and the library is the place for people to come and read. Without reading, you're nowhere. When you're reading, you go places. If you don't go places, you don't know anything. If you don't read, you remain dormant. So if you read, you go places. You go to the next level. You come to know things on your own, because when you're reading, you're traveling, and when you're reading, you're communicating with somebody that has written this book. So I want to urge people to go ahead, come to the library, take book anywhere and read.
The whole idea is to promote reading, to encourage people to read. Reading is so pleasurable. So the whole idea is to encourage people to enjoy reading, respect books, respect people's copyright, respect creativity, and ultimately to ensure that the whole society, in the whole society, creativity is protected. So it is very important, a celebration for all, and it's a good thing that the maritime industry is celebrating World Book and Copyright Day.
World Book and Copyright Day is dedicated to celebrating the importance of books as a bridge that connects people across cultures and generations. Recognized by UNESCO, the observance promotes not only the joy of reading, but also the respect for authors and the value of their intellectual property rights. In celebrating this day, Nimasa reinforces the message that books remain not just sources of knowledge, but instruments of change.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
Every year on May 18th, the world marks the IMO International Day for Women in Maritime, a day dedicated to celebrating the women shaping the maritime industry. This global observance highlights the vital contributions of women while promoting efforts to recruit, retain, and advance women in all areas of the maritime sector. It also strengthens the IMO's commitment to Sustainable Development Goal 5, Gender Equality, by raising the profile of women, encouraging inclusion, and addressing the ongoing gender imbalance in maritime. As the nation's maritime regulator and a proud member of the IMO, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency joins the world in celebrating the achievements of women in maritime and in advocating for a more inclusive and equitable future for the industry. Because when women thrive, maritime prospers.
Here we're in MARAD, that is Maritime Administration. Some other women are involved in shipping. They own the ships. Some are involved in terminal. They are terminal operators. And some are the maritime lawyers outside of the agency. So whatever your passion, there's a place for you. You might choose to be an engineer. You can choose to be a doctor. We have a very robust medical facility. You can choose to be an administrator. You can choose to be a lawyer. The maritime law is very vast also. You can choose to be a surveyor, particularly for women. There's no discrimination. You're most welcome to be in the maritime field. Happy International Day for Women in Maritime 2025. Our theme for this year is an ocean of opportunities.
Happy International Day for Women in Maritime 2025.
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 Happy International Day for Women in Maritime 2025. Happy navigation.
Happy International Day for Women in Maritime 2025.
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 We're still on the program Nimasa this week. Straight on to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals segment, where our focus today is on goal number 16, titled Peace, Justice, and Strong Institutions. Inemotimi Henry-Whyte, an Assistant Chief Legal Officer with Nimasa, will be our guest on the program. Femi, over to you.
Welcome to another edition of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In this edition, we're talking about SDG 16, talking about peace, justice, and strong institutions. Now, to do justice to this segment today, in the studio with me today is Inemotimi, Henry-Whyte. She is an Assistant Chief Legal Officer with Nimasa. Timi, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so now talking about SDG 16, talking about peace, justice, and strong institutions. Now, can you explain to us what does this mean and what is Nimasa doing about this to add its own quota to the SDGs?
The Nigerian maritime sector has made measurable contributions to the SDG 16 through strengthening our laws, enhancing security, and fostering transparency in governance. Like the Nigerians' success in tackling piracy in the Gulf of Guinea, through strategic security initiatives and regional coordination, has achieved peace and stability in the Gulf of Guinea. You know, then we also have Nimasa playing a key role in domesticating international maritime conventions to promote safety, environmental protection, and welfare of seafarers. Nimasa also collaborates with the Nigeria Institute of Advanced Legal Studies to host the annual Admiralty Maritime Law Colloquium.
That's for judges, eh?
Yes, which aims to equip judges by giving them the technical skills and knowledge on to adjudicate cases relating to maritime crimes. On strong institutions, through our regular regulatory framework, digitalization of our processes, strict compliance enforcement, and capacity building. That is where the agency trains our staff in global maritime institutions like IMLI and WMU. Yes, like we are building
which you are a beneficiary of, anyway.
We are building strong institutions.
Right. Thank you so very much. Now, talking about security architecture that you talked about, piracy in the Gulf of Guinea now. I'm aware that Nimasa has a Deep Blue project.
Yes.
And of course, in 2019, the then president, signed into law the SPOMO Act. Now, can you tell us about this? How has Nimasa been able to bring this to bear, to tackle crime in the maritime space, and of course, not just in Nigeria, but of course, in the Gulf of Guinea?
Nimasa introduced the SPOMO Act to enable Nigeria effectively prosecute maritime crimes. And this initiative alone made Nigeria the first country in West Africa to have
a standing
law that prosecutes maritime crimes. Our Deep Blue project, we have a strong security architecture that safeguards our waterways and prevents criminal activities.
Finally, on this segment, I would like to ask you this question. And these SDGs were for 15 years, right? And now we're already on the 10th year, and then in the next 5 years, we are done with this set of SDGs. That's in 2030. Now, what do you think should happen or may happen? Should the SDG continue or should it stop? What's your thoughts on this?
The SDGs were meant to make lives better, right?
Yeah.
However, we have not reached the targets. We did not accomplish these targets. So I think it's something that has come to stay. However, there should be more targets. Not that I'm saying that there should be 17 goals, but at least this is something that we already know that we should take advantage of. But I think the current global target should focus more on the current realities like digitalization, green shipping, ports decarbonization. It should be more focused on enforcement and financing as well.
Thank you so very much, Timi, for joining us on this segment. It's been all about SDG 16. We're talking about justice and peace and a strong institution. And of course, it's all about sustainability. The world is about sustainability. And of course, without sustainability, there can be no world. So definitely, she has said it to us that by 2030, it's expected that there should be a rejig of these SDGs so that the world will continue to thrive. And it's a wrap on this segment. My name is Femi Kumuyi. I remain your host. See you next segment. Thank you.
As we mark the International Day for Women in Maritime 2025, we celebrate the contributions of women who are shaping the future of maritime. Our theme this year is An Ocean of Opportunities for Women, recognizing the vast potential for inclusion, innovation, and equality across the many different areas of work in the maritime world, from deck to boardroom, from ocean scientist to maritime administrator. Education, mentorship, policy, and culture will bring down the barriers that have hindered progress. It is time to build the momentum for change. Let's take today to dive into gender equality. Join me and tag someone who is making waves in the maritime world and opening up opportunities for all. Share how you support gender equality and diversity at sea.
Wow, what an interesting time it's been on the program today. We want to take time to celebrate the invaluable contribution of women who are shaping the future of maritime as we mark the International Day of Women in Maritime 2025. If you are a woman out there and you are interested in maritime, what are you waiting for? Come on board. From the entire crew of Nimasa this week, we say fair winds and following seas.